If you're a first-time mom and you're currently planning your summer vacation, chances are that you're completely overwhelmed with all of the things that you need to take for your baby with you. My husband and I recently went on a 3-week vacation to Bali with our 1-year-old son. And in this video, I would like to share with you my personal list of baby beach essentials. Make sure to watch to the end because I'll also share some of the not so necessary but really nice to have things at the end of the video. Let's start with the most obvious ones. It's swimming panties. I had these ones for my baby. They are rather tight in size. They're leak proof, and one thing that I didn't know when I was selecting those was actually what is the purpose of the swim diapers or swim panties. And you can totally buy disposable swim diapers at a local drugstore. However, those are rather expensive because you would basically need to change them after each swim. So they might, like a pack of them might not be that expensive, but over time they become an unnecessary waste of money. So I recommend to get a reusable swim panties. And for your information, the swim diapers are not pee leak proof. So if your baby pees, it still goes into the swimming pool, unfortunately. But the main purpose of the diaper is to contain the poo. So that is the actual reason for wearing them. I thought it was interesting to know. When I was choosing the panties for my son, I was kind of very nervous and obsessed about them being super duper leak proof, but to be fair, he only pooped while swimming once in 3 weeks, and I don't think that that is such a big issue. The actual issue that I had with my baby was that his sides were a bit chubby because we went to the vacation on pre-walking state, so he didn't start losing any weight yet, and I had to order him like XXL size for like 3-year-olds. So I'll try to list different options in the links down below. But yeah, make sure to try the panties in advance because they might just not fit. All of the products I'm talking about, I'm gonna list in the description down below, so check them out. Next essential would be the swimming suit. Babies below 6 months really shouldn't be using any sunscreen. So a full body, full coverage swimsuit is the best option to protect their skin from the harmful sun. I actually bought 2 overalls, and during the vacation I realized that it would have been practical to also have a separate swimming suit, like a shirt and pants separately, because there were situations where it wasn't that super sunny and I would have preferred to be able to just put on a SPF protecting shirt on my baby and leave his legs free so that it speeds up the process of preparing him for the swim, and because his lower body is underwater. I know it still gets sunlight, but not as much as the torso, and sometimes he wasn't really that much in the mood, so we only went to swim for like 5 minutes and it took like 10 minutes to get him dressed. So that was a little bit overwhelming. I would totally recommend that you get 2 swimming suits, 1 overall and 1 separate pieces. You should definitely get a hat, and ideally it should be a hat that has protection in front of the eyes and on the neck, and it should totally have stripes because if your baby anything like ours, he's gonna try to take that hat off all the time. We had a lot of trouble and struggle with that, but yeah, eventually I kind of ended up using the hat that came with our swimsuit a lot, and I just had to put my foot down and insist that he keeps the hat even though he cried and complained a lot about it. Now you should also definitely take sunscreen for babies, and it should be a sunscreen with physical filter. And if you know as little about sunscreen as I do, what you should look out is that the packaging says that it has minerals in it. Also, if you apply it on the skin, it should be like a thick white layer of cream that doesn't really get absorbed in your skin easily and quickly. So I basically just went to an apothecary and asked for a recommendation for a baby, and this is a cream that they recommended me. I liked it, and it's quite a big bottle and rather expensive, and I wish I kind of thought about it that I could also use that sunscreen and not buy an extra bottle for me. Total waste of money. So you're not gonna need an entire bottle for a baby. If you're going to an exotic area like Bali, for example, you should definitely take mosquito protection and have a look at your drugstore or apothecary. You can ask them. There are some mosquito protective creams that can be used by babies under 6 months, under 12 months. Just pay attention. It's usually fine print, but there are options available. So I bought our son a whole set of new toys, and I thought that he would play a lot with the sand, but as we arrived to the beach, he wasn't quite happy about the idea of playing with the sand, so he ended up playing in the water mainly. And I wish I bought a few more toys that were like water friendly, because I mean, he managed to play with a shovel in the water, but it's not that fun. So this fish star was definitely his favorite, and I'll link a few more options that I wish I bought as well. A small floating pool was a complete game changer and a lifesaver, because Frederick wasn't that happy about spending too much time in the pool. He didn't quite like the swimming ring, and eventually he ended up spending a lot of time just sitting in his little swimming pool right next to the pool, so that me and Robin could swim, and we were taking turns who was watching the baby, because you should never leave him unattended in the pool, but it was extremely helpful to have that. And speaking of the swimming ring, you still definitely need to take one, because it's kind of a 50-50 whether your baby's gonna like it or not. I think the main problem with Frederick was that again, he was a bit chubby, and the swimming ring was a little bit too tight around his chest, and maybe if it wasn't that tight he would enjoy it more, but maybe he just wasn't that much into it anyway. This one is very good, it's very safe, and basically you can safely leave the baby in it to swim on its own. Obviously you still have to be super close to the baby, but you don't have to constantly hold the baby. So yes, check that one out. But if you have a chubby baby as we do, maybe try sizing up and buy the one for the older children. But if your child is a normal sized one, go ahead and buy the one for the small babies. My favorite clothes for the summer vacation were summer overalls, like short sleeve, short pants. They were by far the easiest ones to put on. They are very convenient when you have to carry a baby in a baby carrier, so that nothing rolls up his back when you carry him. But I also used a lot of just t-shorts and shorts combinations. By the way, tip about Bali, you can do laundry by kilos. We did our laundry a couple times, and that wasn't that expensive and allowed us to not take too many clothes with us. A baby carrier is definitely a must. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the beach vacation, but if you go on vacation, chances are that your baby is going to be very overwhelmed, and plus you never know what kind of roads you're going to have and whether the stroller is even going to be useful at all. So definitely remember to take your baby carrier, and ideally it should have some ventilation or made out of some breathable fabric. Don't take anything that had lots of padding and lots of fabric in it, because baby is just gonna sweat all the time. So those were the absolute necessities that I think you should take. We also had a poncho with us, which was extremely practical to put on him after the swim. It was rather absorbent, it allowed him to move around. I could wipe him without, having to wrap him in a towel so that he would get fuzzy, because the towel limits his movement, and in a poncho I knew that I can protect him from the wind and the sun, and he wouldn't be too hot. The other nice to have would be having a swimming shoes. If your baby can already walk and you are going to an ocean or a sea and you have no idea what kind of floor, I don't know, is it called a floor in the sea? It would be, because in an ocean chances are there are going to be lots of stones or maybe dirt or some unexpected objects or like corals that could hurt your baby's feet. My baby couldn't walk on his own, so having swimming shoes was pretty much useless for him. We also brought with us this portable sun protection tent that could also be turned into a swimming pool, which I think is really cool. It fits in a normal size big suitcase, and it's foldable and very lightweight, so it didn't really take much space in our luggage. However, I wouldn't buy that if, first of all, you are not that much of a beach person and rather a swimming pool person, which we are. We didn't go to the sand beach to lie down and spend time there a single time. We only ever stayed at the pool and only took walks on the sand. And the other case I wouldn't buy it in is if your baby is extremely curious and can crawl already and doesn't ever stay still for 5 seconds, then I would probably not buy it. That was the case with Frederick. He never stayed in the same spot for like longer than 30 seconds, so we couldn't quite use it. But I think that kind of tent would be extremely useful useful for children who can't crawl yet or who are not very eager to crawl away from their parents, or for children who can already sit and who already show interest in playing with sandbox and toys with sandbox, because then that could be a very easy way for you to entertain the child by just giving them some toys and sitting them right next to you and having SPF over their head so that you don't have to worry about them being in the sun. You can also check out my Bali vlog. I'm giving some tips on how to travel with a toddler there, and I'll also be making a video with tips for flying with a baby, so make sure to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!